fellow code Nubians. This is my project. Well, it's not even my project. This is a project I got out of an old Ruby Rails 4 book that I started, and I just figured I'd throw this together in case anybody's interested. I'll just go over the initial idea behind this project. What I have, I guess, is a Ruby Rails project with an initial commit. I have the base project files here. It's supposed to be some sort of ticketing system. I only read halfway into the book, not even halfway, like first chapter or so. Just trying to familiarize with Ruby Rails initially. It's got some RSpec stuff. I have properly completed the first spec, so let me see if I can kind of explain what's happening here. I have a show form and a project controller. And what is this? I don't even know what I'm talking about. What is this? First feature? First feature I think is to do something. Why don't I just go to the feature file? It should be like a RSpec thing that describes what this thing is supposed to do. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. We were doing the projects. Yes, so this feature is allowing you to create a project. And this is a very basic CRUD operation thingy. So you can create projects in this Ticketee thing. That's really not going to help anybody understand what I'm doing here. Let me see. Project, Rails, spec helper, features. Oh, look how I spell features, y'all. Fetters. So let's drill into our fetters and look at our first creating project spec. The idea behind this is if you visit the root of the project and click the new project link, you should be able to fill in 2 text fields and create a project, which saves a project record in the database. Very basic stuff. I'm not exactly sure what this system is supposed to do or be, but I think just starting from what I have here, I want to try to start to evolve this into something completely different than what the book says. Let's see. So the basic idea would be to, what is my basic idea? The basic idea would be to create the project using the classic Rails for ERB templates, and then introduce GraphQL and React as the front end, and kind of migrate this thing from the older style Ruby Rails 4 to a newer, I guess, Ruby Rails backend with GraphQL stuff in the middle, talking to React. So right now I have in our Get Graph, you can see I have a branch on this project, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. If you clone the project, you'll get master, which just has the GraphQL dependency. I wasn't supposed to put that on master. That's a mistake. So I guess I've added GraphQL as a dependency. That's not going to hurt anything, but I took it all the way up to the point where you can create project records in the database. And then I created a new GraphQL feature branch, which is supposed to have the GraphQL implementation of reading and writing, projects to the database. So right now I think I have, both a query and a mutation for reading and writing projects. And I'll launch this thing here. I don't even know how to run this. How do I run this? Rails server. So if I run Rails server, that should actually run the project. You see right down here, it looks like it's doing stuff, running. Yeah, you have your WebRick Rails typical output. And right now I'm bound to, I changed the default port to port 8080. I know some of you who are starting with Rails are probably more familiar with port 3000 being your default. I've changed the port to 8080 because I have my usual other Rails projects running on port 3000, and I don't want to have conflicts there. I don't want to have my browser remembering stuff from my old, my other Rails projects. So if I go to port 8080, localhost port 8080, say 3000 or something else. We don't want to do that. We want to do 8080. Yeah, so let's just show you what the, and by the way, I'm here at the park. It's a beautiful day and I'm feeling nauseous, but I just figured I'd lay out the park here and do some coding. So here we go. Very basic, new project. I can click this and say, hey, I want to create a React tutorial. Example use of, not GraphQL, but let's just say React. And you save that and it goes into the database. Oh, I got a breakpoint here. Why don't I have breakpoints enabled? How do I resume? There we go. So that's going through, and it looks like it did stuff. Select from projects. It should have put something in the projects database. So yeah, we have a React tutorial, and it brings you to the show page where you can actually see that record. I guess the very next thing I could do here would be a classic Ruby ERB listing template. If contributors wanted to contribute, just doing pull requests against this repository. Again, the repository be here on GitHub. Let's see, /Cliff76 /Ticketee. I think that's what it's called. Is that the right thing? I'm typing from memory. Yeah. So if you want to just do a pull request against my repository here and implement the where am I at? Implement the the project list page. So when you go to projects, you can get a list of projects, because we don't have that right now. Right now, all I have is a new project button. So if somebody would want to jump in on this project with me and do the list view and just list projects, just using classic Ruby stuff, Ruby Rails. Again, I wanted to make this very basic, lower the barrier of entry to anybody learning learning Ruby Rails and wanting to transition their skill set into something more, like GraphQL and React. So that's pretty much the track that I'm on. The main reason I'm doing this is because I am currently working full-time as a Ruby Rails developer, and we use Ruby Rails, GraphQL, and React all the time at work. So I started this project on my own just to get familiar with the technologies, and I said, why don't I just throw this out on GitHub and encourage people to, just throw a pull request at it and just play around with it. I don't know where the project's going to go. It sounds and feels stupid right now, but maybe it'll turn into something. But that's the synopsis. Am I making sense of this? I don't even know how to end this video. Like, I don't want to just end it straight up right here. I think I've explained enough about what it has. And I didn't actually go into the GraphQL part. That's right. It's not time to end yet, y'all. Wait a minute. I got a bug crawling over my monitor. Not my monitor, my laptop screen. A little teeny ant. I'm looking at him and he's looking at me. Hi, ant. Anyhow, if y'all can see my face, it looks ridiculous. Let's go to the other thing, which was the GraphQL part. Let's see, GraphQL. Yes, if I go and pull up the GraphQL. Oh, that's not what it was. Ticketee, GraphQL, right here. I think this is it. Yeah, so again, I created some basic mutation and query on this project. And it doesn't look like, what's this? It's the root query. Mutation text field. This is weird. Like, I should have the project mutation in here too. I don't know why it's not there. It's bothering me. Mutation. Yeah, it looks like the mutation isn't there. I might be on the wrong branch. Am I on the wrong branch? I apologize, y'all, if I'm babbling a bit. It looks like I have the project mutation here, which would have defined in my root RB file. Don't I? Can't I want to go back. Project root RB. Oh, I want to go here. This opens the file. So yeah, project mutation. I should have a create project mutation in here, and it's not showing up in my schema here. So if I go to mutations, there's no. Anyhow, if you're not familiar with GraphQL, you can ignore this part. You can just completely click off of the video and start with the project list view and start, doing cool stuff to HTML stuff, make it look pretty, like a nice project page. Like even the project input stuff looks weird and ugly. So very basic stuff. I'm going to research why my my create project mutation is not working here. Like if I do this, it's like it doesn't even see it. I must have totally pulled this out of the loop. I have a mutation. Oh, I know what it is. I probably need to go into my schema. Schema. Ticketee schema. And yeah, mutations type. Yeah, I don't have it registered here. That's what it is. So what is it? Oh, shucks. Ticketee schema. So my schema, if I look at my root RB for my mutation, create project. Yeah, the root mutation. Yeah, I want to use this root mutation in my schema. So if I put the root mutation into my schema instead of this thing, and let's see, root mutation, where am I'm getting used to VS Code. I'm usually an IntelliJ guy, but I'm starting to use VS Code more, so just bear with me as I navigate here. Root mutation. Root mutation. Oh boy. It's the root mutation. What was I doing? Schema, create project. Mutations. Yeah, I want to look for it. Mutations, root mutations. So I did that. I want to do mutations is the module. So I got to make sure I use the mutations module name, root mutation. If I do that, guess what, y'all? I bet you it's going to make it show up. Here we go. Root mutation. There it is. Root query. There we go. So if I do that and commit this and push, then it should show up on the repository for everybody. How do I do this? Where's my commit, push, get stuff here? Let's see. Register. If I can spell register, look at that type. Register. Register is root mutation in the schema. In the schema of things. So if I do that, do you end your commit messages with a period? I always feel weird about either not adding a period or adding it. It never feels right either way. I'm going to put a period here. Okay, so we do that. And I should be able to somehow push. How do you push in this editor? Push. So I'm going to push my branch. Go back to my get graph. So here, there we go. Feature and origin. So I've just pushed that change and it should be up there visible. That's pretty much all I want to cover. I'll probably do another stupid, crazy, goofy video on this project later on. Feel free to tag me on your Twitters and Instagrams of the world, social media networks or whatever. Ping me directly on GitHub. Ask me questions, harass me. I'm a little busy these days, but I'm going to try to see what I can do with this project and stay on top of it. I don't know where it's going. It's something to get your feet wet. Oh, last thing is, if you need help understanding how to actually contribute to open source, that's the whole purpose of this, right? Yeah, because y'all want to do open source stuff. I should have opened with that. Okay, so open source project, this is the name of it. If you're getting started, I should probably do that too. Oh, look at this. Pull request. See, I can create a pull request because I have a branch I just pushed. I didn't push that before. I thought I had it pushed. Well, it's up there now. So I can actually create a pull request to merge this in the master. I don't want to merge this in the master just yet. I want to kind of iterate over the GraphQL feature on a separate branch. So we'll get back to that. But yeah, getting back to the beginning, if you would like to contribute to open source, this is a great project to get your feet wet with. Assuming that you're brand new with either Ruby, Rails, and or HTML, JavaScript, you can start throwing together some JavaScript pages and putting them in this project. And how do you do that? You would go and you would click fork, and you would fork this repository. You would fork it to wherever you want to fork it to, and this what a fork does is it creates a copy of my repository under your account. You see, this is under my account, Cliff76. You see my ugly mug right there? That's me. So it will copy this repository from my account to your account. So your name would be here, and it would probably say the same name. So you would have a copy of my project, and then anything you did in that copy of that project would belong to you. And if you had a cool idea, like a brand new web page you wanted to add, or if you wanted to do the project list feature, or whatever it is you want to do, what you would do is you would copy, or you would fork the project and you would clone it locally. So the next thing you would do after you fork it is clone it. Cloning is a way of downloading. So you would clone the project, which is downloading it to your computer, and then you would work on the project like I'm working on it. You would make some changes. You would commit the changes. Those changes get committed locally to your local copy of the project, and you would push those changes to your repository. And once they're on your repository, you would have branches showing up here like I have, and you can do a pull request. Pull request, you can go to my project and do pull request and create a brand new pull request. And in this form here, you would do a pull request across forks, because you wouldn't be in the same repository. You'd be pulling changes from your fork or your copy of my Ticketee project and requesting them to be merged into mine. So that's what a pull request is. It's a way of you saying, hey, Cliff, I got some cool changes in this repository, in this fork of your repository, and I would like you to pull, I'm requesting you to pull these changes into your repository. So, you would do this, and you would select your fork, which would be over here. You see the arrow points from right to left. So you're saying, I want to pull these changes from the right hand side to the left hand side. The left hand side is me, master branch. So you would say, hey, I'd like to pull from my repository, which is Sarah or Stephanie or Michael or Marcus /Ticketee, whatever your name is, /Ticketee, and whatever branch you're on, or you can work directly on master, and you can commit those changes directly to master on your copy, and then you would create a pull request, and that would show up on my project, and I would see that. I would say, oh, somebody's actually interested in my project, and I would review your changes, I would give you feedback, and I would merge them in, and we would be collaborating, and it would be so fun, and the sun will shine, and the birds would sing, and we could all sing together in harmony. But that's pretty much the idea behind pull requests and behind what I'm trying to do. I want to get people familiar, give people the opportunity to do something very simple and get acclimated with the process of doing open source development. And with that, I guess I can cut this video a little bit short. I'm at the park. I'm working off of my Samsung S9. This video is rather huge, I'm sure. I don't know how I'm going to upload it, but I'm going to try to upload it either to YouTube or directly to the repository, or both. I'm going to see how this works. But yeah, that's it. Hit me up. Let me know. Talk to y'all. Peace.